Fort Jackson, South Carolina. April 1st, 1942. 0530 hours. The rifle lands in the dirt at his feet. Private Desmond Doss stares down at the M1 Garand like it's a serpent. Around him, 73 men of Company B snap their weapons to port arms in perfect unison. The drill instructor's boots crunch closer. The air smells of gun oil and red clay dust. Pick it up. Doss doesn't move. This isn't defiance born of cowardice. This is conviction forged in a Virginia childhood, in a Seventh-day Adventist home where the Sixth Commandment wasn't a suggestion. Thou shalt not kill. For words that, to Desmond Doss, mean exactly what they say. No exceptions. No interpretations. Not even in war. But try explaining theology to a drill sergeant. The mockery starts that afternoon. Whispers in the chow line. Shoulder checks in the barracks. Yellow belly. Bible thumper. Coward. By week 2, it escalates. His bunk gets flipped at midnight. His boots go missing before morning formation. Someone pisses in his canteen. His own captain tries to have him discharged. Section 8. Psychiatric grounds. The paperwork goes up the chain. Private Doss is unfit for combat duty due to religious delusions rendering him incapable of defending himself or his unit. But Doss refuses to quit. He endures every push-up punishment, every extra mile, every venomous insult. He wants to serve. He wants to save lives, not take them. He'll be a medic. He'll run into fire to pull men out. He just won't carry a gun. His battalion thinks he's insane. They have no idea he's about to prove them catastrophically wrong. Camp Breckenridge, Kentucky. November 1943, Doss finally earns his combat medic badge. The harassment doesn't stop. It follows him across the Pacific, through training on Leyte, through the blood-soaked landing at Guam. His platoon tolerates him. Barely. They don't trust him. How could they? A soldier without a weapon is a liability. A man who won't kill is a man who'll get you killed. But Private Doss keeps his head down, his Bible close, and his aid bag ready. He prays every morning. He observes the Sabbath, even when it costs him leave. He doesn't argue. He doesn't preach. He just waits for his chance to prove what faith looks like when the world is burning. April 1945. USS Enrico. Okinawa bound. The 77th Infantry Division is headed for the bloodiest battle of the Pacific Theater. Intelligence estimates Japanese forces at over 100,000 entrenched troops. The island is a fortress. Every ridge, every cave, every village is fortified, and waiting at the southern end of the island is a 400-foot escarpment the Americans will come to call Hacksaw Ridge. Doss stands on deck as Okinawa's coastline emerges through the morning haze. Around him, men check weapons, load magazines, sharpen bayonets. He checks his morphine syrettes, his sulfa powder, his bandages. He doesn't know it yet, but in 3 weeks, this ridgeline will become the stage for the most impossible rescue mission in American military history, and the man they call a coward will become a legend. Okinawa, Ryukyu Islands. May 4th, 1945. 0800 hours. The cargo nets smell like rust and seawater. Doss climbs down the side of the Henrico into the waiting Higgins boat, aid bags strapped tight across his chest. The boat rocks violently. 30 men packed shoulder to shoulder, faces green, silent. Some pray, some vomit. Most just stare at nothing. The beach landing is chaos, but not the kind anyone expected, and no machine gun fire. No artillery. The 77th Infantry walks onto Okinawa's western shore almost unopposed. It feels wrong, unnatural, like walking into an ambush that hasn't sprung yet, because that's exactly what it is. The Japanese aren't defending the beaches. They're waiting inland, dug into the ridges and hills where American naval guns can't reach them, where every meter of ground will cost blood. Company B moves east, through rice paddies turned to mud, through villages reduced to ash. The air stinks of smoke and decay. They pass corpses, Japanese, Okinawan civilians, the occasional American from earlier waves. Doss stops at each American, checks for dog tags, closes eyes, whispers a prayer. His platoon doesn't wait for him. By May 4th, they reach the base of the Maeda Escarpment. Hacksaw Ridge that IT rises like a wall. 400 feet of jagged limestone cliff, pocked with caves and crevices. The Americans have been trying to take it for 2 days. 2 days of sending men up cargo nets and rope ladders, only to have them cut down by Japanese machine guns positioned in spider holes along the summit. The ridge is a killing floor, and today, it's Company B's turn to climb. 1,400 hours. Doss ascends with a second wave. His hands grip the rope ladder, knuckles white. Above him, the sound of gunfire echoes like thunder trapped in a canyon. Dirt and rock fragments rain down. Someone above screams and falls backward, tumbling past Doss in a tangle of limbs and gear. He keeps climbing. The summit is worse than anything he imagined. The plateau is maybe 500 yards across, pockmarked with craters and littered with bodies. Shattered trees jut from the earth like broken teeth. The air is thick with smoke and the copper stench of blood. Japanese positions are invisible, hidden in caves behind rocks, beneath the churned soil itself. Company B spreads out, digs in, waits. The attack comes at dusk. 1830 hours. The Japanese don't charge with bonsai screams. They emerge quietly, shadows peeling away from shadows. Grenades arc through the twilight. Machine gun fire erupts from 3 directions at once. The Americans are surrounded. Men go down instantly. Doss hears the screams before he sees the wounded. He sprints toward the nearest voice. A kid from Tennessee, maybe 19, intestines spilling through his shredded uniform. Doss drops to his knees, hands moving automatically. Pressure bandage. Morphine. Sulfa powder. You're going to be okay. Stay with me. The kid's eyes are wide. Terrified. He's not going to be okay. But Doss lies anyway. Because sometimes a lie is the kindest thing you can offer a dying man. He drags the kid toward the cargo nets. Toward evacuation. 20 yards feels like 20 miles. Bullets snap past his head. One tears through his aid bag. Another punches a hole in his canteen. He doesn't stop. He gets the kid to the edge. Signals the medics below. Moves to the next man. And the next. And the next. The battle rages for 4 hours. By the time the Japanese pull back into the darkness, Company B has lost 30% of its strength. The plateau is a graveyard. Wounded men cry out from craters, from behind rocks, from places no one can reach without dying. Doss collapses against a shattered tree trunk, hands shaking, uniform soaked in other men's blood. He's exhausted. He has no idea the real test hasn't even started yet. So Doss holds his hand, sits with him in the failing light, while Japanese patrols move past, whispers scripture, prays, lies and says it's going to be okay. The man dies squeezing Doss's fingers. Doss closes the soldier's eyes, pockets his dog tags, adds him to the mental list of names he'll carry forever. Then he goes looking for the next 1.2 thousand hours. Full dark. Doss has been on Hacksaw Ridge for 15 hours. He's lowered 75 men down a cliff with a rope and a tree stump. 75. Some were conscious enough to thank him. Most weren't. He collapses near the rope, hands useless, body shutting down. He hasn't eaten, hasn't slept. His shoulder is dislocated. 3 ribs are cracked, and his left ear is bleeding from a near-miss grenade blast. The plateau is finally silent, and no more cries. No more movement. Just wind to the shattered trees and the distant rumble of artillery. Doss closes his eyes. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for one more. He doesn't hear the American patrol that climbs back up the ridge at midnight, expecting to find only corpses. They find him instead. Unconscious, hands destroyed, uniform black with dry blood, none of it his own. And below, at the base of the cliff, 75 men alive who should be dead. All saved by the man they called a coward. May 6, 1945. Field Hospital, Okinawa, 0800 hours. Doss wakes to white canvas and the smell of ether. His hands are wrapped in gauze, so thick he can't bend his fingers. His shoulder is in a sling. Someone stitched the gash above his ear. He tries to sit up. A nurse pushes him back down with surprising force. You're not going anywhere, Private. But the men keep coming. First is the captain he saved, head bandaged, eyes wet, who stands at the foot of his cot and says nothing, just stares. Then nods once and walks away. Then the machine gunner with one arm. Then the kid from Tennessee who wasn't going to make it, but did. Then soldiers Doss doesn't even recognize. Men who heard the story secondhand, thirdhand, men from other companies, other battalions. They come to see the medic who went back, who stayed, who saved 75 men without firing a shot. The word spreads like wildfire through the 77th Infantry Division. Impossible, miraculous, real. The same men who mocked him at Fort Jackson now call him a hero. The same officers who tried to discharge him now recommend him for the Medal of Honor. The same platoon that wouldn't trust him with their lives now owes him those very lives. May 21st, 1945, that Doss returns to duty. His hands are still healing. He'll never regain full feeling in 3 fingers. But Company B is back on Hacksaw Ridge, and he refuses to let them go without him. They take the plateau on the second attempt. This time, when they hold the line, Doss is there, still unarmed, still praying, still running toward the wounded, while everyone else runs from the bullets. He's hit by shrapnel from a grenade on May 21st. Refuses evacuation. He's shot through both legs by a sniper on May 27th. Still refuses to leave until every other wounded man is evacuated first. While waiting for a litter, he spots a more critically injured soldier. Doss rolls off his stretcher, gives it to the dying man, and crawls to cover, wait for the medics to return. Then a Japanese tank shell explodes nearby. Shrapnel shatters his left arm in 17 places. This time, they don't give him a choice. They drag him to the aid station, then to the hospital ship, then back to the States. The war ends without him. October 12, 1945. The White House, Washington, D.C. President Harry S. Truman stands on the South Lawn before a crowd of reporters and military brass. Beside him, in a crisp dress uniform with one arm in a sling, stands Private First Class Desmond Thomas Doss. Truman holds a Medal of Honor, a light blue ribbon and a bronze star that represents the highest recognition of valor the United States can bestow. He reads the citation aloud. Every word a testament to the impossible. Conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action above and beyond the call of duty. Saved the lives of 75 men. Outstanding bravery and unflinching determination. The crowd applauds. Cameras flash. But Doss doesn't smile for the photos. He thinks about the 75th man, the one whose name he never learned. the one who died holding his hand in the dark. He thinks about all of them. After the ceremony, a reporter asks him, "Private Doss, how does it feel to be a hero?" Doss looks uncomfortable, shifts his weight, speaks quietly. "I'm not a hero. I was just a medic doing my job." The real heroes are the ones who didn't come home. Years later, Desmond Doss returns to a quiet life in Georgia. He doesn't talk much about the war. He works as a carpenter, raises a family, attends church every Sabbath. But the men he saved never forget. They write him letters, visit his home, bring their children to meet the man who gave them a chance to become fathers. At reunions, grown soldiers weep and call him the reason they're alive. In 2004, the Army names a building at Fort Benning after him to end 2016. His story becomes a film, Hacksaw Ridge, watched by millions who can barely believe it's true. But it is true. Every word, every rescue, every impossible moment. The legacy. Desmond Doss proved something the world desperately needed to learn, that courage doesn't require violence, that faith isn't weakness, that the most powerful weapon on a battlefield isn't always a gun. Sometimes it's a rope, sometimes it's a prayer, sometimes it's a man who refuses to kill, but will die trying to save. The military changed its policies after Hacksaw Ridge. Conscientious objectors were no longer discharged or ridiculed. They were given roles where their convictions could coexist with their service. Medics, support, roles that saved lives instead of taking them. Doss never carried a weapon, not in training, not in combat, not ever. And yet, he remains one of the most lethal opponents the Japanese army ever faced. Because every man he saved went back into the fight. Every soldier he rescued returned to the line that he didn't kill the enemy. He multiplied his own forces 75 times over in a single day. Desmond Doss died on March 23, 2006, at the age of 87. He was buried with full military honors. His Medal of Honor was displayed at his funeral. And 75 families, grown now, spanning generations, mourn the man who made their existence possible. The man they once called a coward. The man who became a legend. The man who climbed into hell 75 times and brought heaven back with him.